teach you Android application development. So the first thing we are going to discuss is our course outline. So as you can see in the course outline, you will see everything that we are going to learn in this course. So the first thing that comes to us is our introduction, where we'll give you a small overview of Android. What is Android? What is the market share of Android? And how we are going to use the Android tool IDE, and right now it's known as Android Studio. The installation of Android Studio, and what are the prerequisites for installing Android Studio. We will learn a bit about the user interface of Android Studio and its controls. After that, we will develop a small application called Hello World. So whenever you learn a new language, you develop an application called Hello World. After that, we will learn about the life cycles and layouts. After that, we will learn about layouts and life cycles. So the most important thing in any operating system is its layout and the UI, the user interface. So we learn how we can make the user interface in the best possible way, the different layouts and views, and how we can make the best layout for the most effective application. After that, we'll talk a bit about the intense and dynamic views. So there we'll see about data parsing, how our data moves back and forth through the application. Our next lecture will be on storage. So by the name itself, you'll know that there will be some databases, some shared preferences, and we'll learn how we'll manage the data, insert, delete, update, and retrieve. These are some of the things that will be covered in storage. After that, we'll move on to threads and web services. So mainly, web services are consumed by the Android applications, and we'll learn how to consume those web services through threads. We'll learn what is socket programming and what are the APIs available in the market which will help us to run these threads and web services. And let's come to broadcasts and notifications, which is also a main part of any Android applications. We learn how to create broadcasts, how to make notifications, and how to push those notifications. Then we'll move on to some advanced topics where we will mainly learn Firebase, how we authenticate Firebase and how we maintain them, and how we maintain storage on Firebase, and some machine learning. Lastly, we will learn how you will develop your career through freelancing, how you can make ad mobs, and how you can upload your applications on the Play Store. This will be learned in the last lecture once we have developed enough skill on our Android application. So let's talk a bit more about our lecture for today and what we will be covering. So as you can see, it's an introduction and overview lecture where we will learn what is Android and why we should be focused on developing Android applications, so that we know what is the motive behind our work and what we will be learning through this. After that, we'll be learning about some prerequisites for Android development, which means what is required before we start learning Android development. After that, we move on to the tool for Android development, that is IDE, also known as Android Studio. We'll see how you can run Android Studio efficiently and what are the possibilities when you use Android Studio. Lastly, we will develop a small application by the name of Hello World. So the basic motive is whenever you learn a new language, you have to develop a small application called Hello World. So our first question is, what is Android? Android is just another operating system among the many operating systems in the market, such as BlackBerry operating system, Windows operating system, Apple iOS, which is the most famous among all applications. So just like that, Android is another operating system. The Android operating system is developed by Google. Now, the motive for Google to launch Android is, as you can see, mobile phones have brought a new revolution in the world, and a need for smartphone devices. So in this race, many brands got involved, and the one that came out on top was Android as well as Apple. So basically, this application runs on all of their mobile devices as well as their embedded systems. This operating system does not only run on phones but also smartwatches and now as well as automobiles. So another reason for the success of the Android operating system are the many different number of brands that are making devices for it, namely Asus, Sony, Huawei and others, as well as many small brands that make devices which support the Android operating system. This means that the number of users for the Android operating system is the highest in the world, and so will be the demand for its applications. So the main advantage for the customer is that when he goes in the market for any device, there are a number of different options available in the market for him. Now the question arises on why you should learn Android development and why it will be of benefit for you. So that I will try to cover in the different 5 points, and the concept will be clear for you on why Android development is more important. So the first point is open source code. So as most of you will know, the open source community contributes a lot to the Android source code, due to which day by day the Android operating system is getting advanced and many new features are coming on the operating system. Other than that, the different manufacturers like Asus and Sony, which develop the smartphones, they make devices to support the Android operating system. So this is one reason why you should be focused on Android app development. The next point is Google Play Store. The store which is used the most in the world for online applications is Google Play Store. The reason for its popularity is that 60 to 80% of the applications available on the store are free to use. Whereas on the other side, if you look at iOS, most of the applications are paid. And that is the reason why the number of users on the Android side is more, because the applications are free to use. So due to such a huge market, Play Store is the most popular store. So when a store is such a big hit, the application development will have more demand as well as the job opportunities for the application development. So as you can see, because the Play Store is so popular, Android application development has a huge demand in it, and because of this demand, there are a huge number of job opportunities. Because of the popularity of the Play Store, there's a lot of job openings for Android app development and fill the void in the market. Even on freelancing, there are a lot of job opportunities, as well as the local job market. And you can even launch your own application with a good idea and start earning through that application. So the fourth point is more revenue. As you can see, with so many applications and so many users, your revenue automatically starts climbing. Because of this revenue, you can easily start Android development and you can fit in yourself and earn a good amount. As you can see below, the number of Android users is 76%, iOS 22%, and others 2%, which includes the Nokia Symbian operating system, BlackBerry OS, and others. So those OS have only a 2% demand in the market out of 100%. This is in stark contrast to the 76% of market share that is captured by Android. So this will help you to see why developing apps for Android is important. Next, let's talk about some prerequisites for Android development. Meaning, if you are to start Android development, what are the concepts that you should be knowing beforehand? The most important thing in this is the programming language, that is Java. So you should have a good grip on Java, which is a programming language. You need to know about some concepts like loops, list variables, and control structures, and how you manage them. Basically, you should have a complete grip on the Java language. Only then you can be a good Android developer. If you don't know Java, Java is an open source language and you can find tutorials on the market. You can find the tutorials on YouTube. So you should start learning Java today, and it is really important for you to know Java in order to learn Android development. The next thing we'll go on to is SQL, which is basically a query language, which will tell you how to communicate with the databases, how to fetch data, insert, delete, and all of these things we will learn in SQL basics. So whenever you have to retrieve and store data, you have to know which query to run in SQL. So the third point we will be looking at is XML, and as you all know, the look of Android is based on XML. So if your grip on XML is good, you can make a good design application. After that, we will learn whatever the data we parse on Android, it is through XML. You should have a good knowledge of XML to make a good Android application. Okay, so now let's talk about the IDE or Android Studio, which is a tool on which we will be doing the development. So Android Studio is the only tool and it can be run on any platform. It is platform independent. So this is unlike the iOS, which is platform dependent, meaning if you want to develop applications for iOS, it is a must that you should be having a Mac. If you do not have a Mac, you cannot develop apps for the iOS. But this is unlike Android, so you can run the Android Studio whether you have a Mac, Linux, or Windows. It is platform independent. To run Android Studio, you need to have a minimum of 8 GB RAM if you want to run it smoothly. You should also be having Java JDK. As I have told you before, Android is dependent on Java, and if you have the JDK, only then you can develop apps on the Android Studio. to set up Android. So to set up Android Studio, as I have told you, you need to have Java JDK. So you need to install JDK. These are some of the things that I am telling you, and the implementation will be shown to you in the future, so you don't need to be concerned. First you will install JDK and then set environment variables. This also I will explain to you in the future. How we install Android Studio, download SDK components, and from where to find those SDK components. So the third point is virtual devices. So if you do not want to use your phone during app development, you wish to test your application within your system, so for that you have to create virtual devices. That also I will show you how to create virtual devices. But you need to keep in mind that if you are creating virtual devices, you need to have a RAM of more than 8 GB in order for the program to run smoothly. At least 12 GB. So what are virtual devices? So just like you have your phone, there will be a virtual devices created in the studio, and you can use it with Android Studio. We will also show you how to do the installation for the virtual device. So now let's look at how to install the Android Studio on your device. So the first thing I have told you, the language we will use with Android Studio will be Java based. So whenever you start Java coding or programming, you need to install some JDKs on your PC, and we will see how you install those JDKs on your PC. So the first thing we do is we go to Google and we write download JDK. So whenever you get the link, you click on the first link and it will take you to the Oracle website. There you will click on JDK download. Now you need to read the important Oracle JDK license. After reading, you come down and you can see a lot of options for the different platforms available. Meaning whatever OS you have available, you can download the JDK file for the corresponding OS. Because as I have told you earlier, Android Studio is not OS dependent, meaning it doesn't require a specific OS to work. It will work on any of the 3 operating systems, namely Mac OS, Linux, and Windows OS. So right now I have Windows OS installed, and we will download a JDK file for Windows. We will download the JDK file for 64-bit Windows, and then here it is asking you to accept the terms and conditions. So please accept and download the JDK file for Windows. So it will ask you for a path. Select any path of your choice and then click on save. Now you will see that the download of your JDK has started. After that, you will install the JDK file. So let's wait till it downloads. Now that your JDK has downloaded, we will move through installation. Double click your JDK file and follow the installation instructions. it will ask you the installation location. So select the installation folder or the default location. Now it is installing. Now our JDK has been successfully installed. So we will close the installer. So after we have finished the installation for the JDK, the next step that remains is Java home settings. So what exactly are Java home settings? So basically we have to specify the directories of the environment variables, like where is your JDK installed, and I will show you the way to set it. You will simply go to My Computer, Properties. After that you will go to Advanced System Settings. There you will see a tab for Environment Variables. Click it. In System Variables, we have to set a new variable for Java Home. To do this, you click on New. It will ask you the variable name and you will set it as Java_home. Now the value for this is you will give the path where you have installed the JDK. So we will take the path. Most probably it will be in the C drive program files Java JDK. Then you click here and copy the path, paste it in the variable value and then click on OK. So now you can see you have a new variable created by the name of Java Home. So this is a very important step that you have to take to set Java Home as a variable. Click on OK, then again click on OK. And then close it. So now our JDK has been installed successfully, and we have also set Java Home as an environment variable in our PC. Now our next step will be to download the Android Studio tool. For that, we will go to Google and type download Android Studio. Click on the first link. Now the home page that has opened is the home page for Java Android developers. And as you can see, Android Studio is available free of cost. And if you look below, you will find the overview for the latest iteration of Android Studio with the different features. So we'll click on download Android Studio and we will have to accept the terms and conditions and download. Now it will ask you the setup location for the Android Studio and click on download. Alright, so Android Studio is now successfully downloaded, and let's go towards installation. So let's go to the folder and double click and start the installer. So the installer has started. Click on next. It will ask us whether we need to add the Android virtual device. So as we have discussed before, if you want to use the Android virtual device on your system, you can click it, or if you want to use your smartphone to test out the application, you can untick it. But right now we want to select this, and it will show you the space required to install the complete setup. After that, we will click on next, and it will ask us the installation location. You can set it to any place that you feel. But we will let it stay at the default location for now. Now basically it is asking us if we need a start menu shortcut. So if you want to keep it, you will not check it. Right now we will let it stay unticked, and we want the shortcut to be added on the screen. Now the installation has started, and you can see it is being installed. Let's wait for the installation to finish. So right now our installation has finished, and we will click on next, and it will ask us whether we want to start the Android Studio when we click finish. So let it stay ticked, and let's click on finish. And it will start. Now it's downloading some Sdk files. These are some basic Sdk files that are required to run the application. So let's wait for a bit till the download finishes. This is a welcome screen for the Android Studio, and it just gives a small introduction on the devices that can use the applications that you create with Android Studio, such as Android OS, Chrome OS. Now it will ask you whether you want a standard or a custom installation. And it will continue the installation. So if you click on standard, so Android Studio supports two themes, a dark theme and a light theme. We'll be working on a light theme, so we'll click on next. Now it will ask you whether you want to download the Android virtual device along with the basic files that will be downloaded. We will click on it and select next. Here, after confirming the settings that you have selected, it will ask you to finish. The SDK has completed downloading. And the screen that is in front of you right now is the start home screen of the Android Studio. And it will ask you whether you want to start a new project, open an existing Android project, export a file from version control, or if you want to debug an APK through Android Studio. There is also an option to import a project from old applications like Gradle, Eclipse, etc. So to make our Hello World application, we will click on Start a new project. The name we will set for this project will be Hello World application. And after we set the paths, we click on next. Then it will ask you for what kind of device you are making the application. So we click on phone and tablet and then click next. Now you will find a lot of options when you click on next. If you want to add an activity such as a basic activity where there's a plus button, or if you want, there'll be tabs at the bottom, an empty activity, if you want fragment views, there are a lot of different options available that you can add to your application. So we select empty activity and then we click on next. Now it's asking you the main activity, that is the first screen that will be shown when your application is opened. What will be the name of that screen? So we don't change the name because mostly the first screen on the application we keep the name as main activity, and this will generate a layout file, the name of which will be activity_main. Whenever you add a name on layout name, make sure that the letters are small. You can't keep capital letters. Backwards compatibility means for how many OS before the current OS your app should be compatible with. So click on it and select finish. Now your project will start loading, and after loading your project will be in front of you. Now this is the main screen of Android Studio. So because we have installed the latest version of Android Studio and it's a new install, it will show you what's new on your right hand side. So let's close it. So what's happening below here is the configuration files for Gradle are syncing with the internet. So let's talk a bit about the main controls of Android Studio. Let's get familiar with them, and as our course goes on, we'll learn more in detail. So the main features that we use in Android Studio, let's go over them. As I have told you, this pane at your left is basically project view, where you can view your whole project. So let's see how Android Studio views your project. There are two portions. There is a folder called app, and then there's Gradle scripts. So in the app section contains all your project files, the manifest, Java files, resource files. This generated Java files is auto-generated and doesn't contain a lot of important information. So Java stands for Java and RES stands for resources. Two folders are test folders. Later we will see what these test folders are for. And the first folder is our main folder called main activity, the one which we created at the start. If you double click it, the file opens on your right side. Just like that, when you go to sources, there will be Drawables. This will include all the images that are going to be used in your application. In the layout folder, it will contain the screens such as the activity_main screen that we created at the start. That will be in the layout folder. Just like that, in the mipmap folder, there will be smaller size drawables. Similarly, in the values folder, it will contain colors, strings, and themes that are going to be used. This will be in XML format. So this is your project view, and let's move towards build variance. If you see on your left side down, if you click on it, you will find some build variance. So in the future we will learn about build variance. So this is where it's located. Just like that, you have some favorites that you have set. Now, what we were talking regarding virtual devices, how virtual devices are made and run on Android Studio. The toolbar that you see on top, there are a lot of different options available. This button is used to set your module, and right now we only have an application available to run. Beside that, we have a project button with which we can make a project. If you want to test your app, you can use this play button to run the app on your virtual device. And it will be beneficial for you if you remember the shortcuts, and it will make life a lot easier in the future. Just like that, if you take your cursor on the play button, it will show you the shortcut for the run, that is Shift plus F10. Beside that, we have instant run, which is if you have made some small changes and you want to quickly undo or redo those changes, there's this instant run button. So if you click on this button, it will not run the full application, but only the changes that you have made currently. So this is very good to quickly check your changes, and it will map those changes on your emulator or your device. The button next to it also runs your application, but the debugger is attached to it, and later we will check the uses of this debugger. Next to that we have the profile button, where you can see how much RAM and how much memory is being used by your application. If you want to attach the debugger while running the application, you can press this button to attach the debugger to it. So right now these things will be difficult to understand, but as we go on further using these buttons, it will be easier to understand. So there is no need to worry right now. So only what's important is to remember their functionality right now, and later we will learn how to use them while building our application. Just like that, the next button will ask us if we want to sync our files with Gradle, and we can do that if required. The next option is AVD, or Android Virtual Device Manager. Through AVD Manager you can create a number of virtual devices. Beside that we find the SDK Kit, or the Software Development Kit Manager. So these two buttons are really important, the AVD Manager and the SDK Manager. So let's move on and click on AVD Manager so that you will know how to create a virtual device. Here you can see in front of you, the virtual devices screen is open in front of you. You can create a virtual device over here, and it will ask you whether you want to create a virtual device for a TV, phone, Wear OS, or a tablet. So click on phone and you can select any phone model. So just like how a real phone looks and behaves along with its OS, this will give you the same feeling of operating a phone within your computer. So you can select any device, and here we will select Nexus 5X. Click on next, and it will ask you what OS you want to run on this virtual device. So whatever application is downloaded on your computer, the download button will not show in front of it, such as for Nougat, it's not showing the download. You can simply click download and the version for the OS will be downloaded on your PC. So because I had downloaded Nougat, we will select it and click on next, and now you can see it's asking us for a name in the AVD name column, and we will keep the name as Nexus 5X API 24. 24 means the Nougat API is installed for this device. Now when you see your virtual devices list, you will see a new device added called Nexus 5X API 24. Now you can run any application on this virtual device when you click on run. So here, let's start. So the latest version of Android has started. So now this phone is the exact image of a Nexus 5X, and whenever you start the original phone, this looks exactly like it. So your virtual device is now starting, and just like whenever you buy a new phone and it starts and gives you a demo, this will show you the exact same. So the benefit of having a virtual device is that you don't need to carry a real phone with you to test an application. You don't need to test your application multiple times on the phone. You can test out the iterations on this virtual device, and then finally when your application is ready, you can test it on a real phone. So these virtual devices are really helpful. As you can see, it is just like a real phone. They have Play Store installed, Google Maps, Photos, Gallery, etc. So now let's minimize the virtual device, and have a look at the SDK Manager. If you click on it within Android SDK, you will open the SDK Manager, SDK platforms. This will show all the Android versions from Android 2.1 till the latest Android version, which is Android API 30 over here. So here you can check the status of which versions are installed on your computer. The ones for which any update is available, it will show on the right side as well, and the ones which are not installed will show as not installed. So whenever you click a version and click OK, it will start downloading. So these are the versions available in the SDK Platforms tab. The next tab beside it are Sdk Tools. These are the tools which are very helpful and necessary for your Android Studio. So most of the things are already installed. If we need an update, we can select it and click on OK. And you can manage your SDK easily from this tab. Whenever you want to change a path, you can easily change it from here. So this is a small intro to SDK Manager and AVD Manager. And now we will move on how to create this small Hello World application. So whenever you create an activity, there are two files created. An activity is what we call a screen. Such as when you go on Facebook, you have a login screen, and then you have the home page, which is another screen. After that, when you click on a post, it goes on a different screen. So all of these are called activities in the Android application, and all activities will create two files, a Java file and an XML file, as you can see. So here you can see main activity.java, which is the Java file, and activity_main.xml, which is the XML file. There are many more things that can be put in these files. That will be explained later, what we can do in the activity main file. So the main activity is already in front of you. You will click on it and go to the main activity, and what you find in front of you is the XML layout for this activity. So let's take a small overview of the things that you are finding in front of yourself. So palettes are basically all the widgets in front of you, like image views, back buttons, scrolls. All of these are available in front of you. If you want text-based, these are available over here. But the different kinds of buttons available, like radio button, checkbox button, there are different widgets available, different layouts. We'll learn more about the different layouts and how to use them. Other than that, we'll explore each one in detail. So right now our aim is to make a Hello World application. Simply, this is a main activity and we haven't added anything else. We have only added the Hello World text in the middle of the screen, as you can see. As you can see, the whole application is in running mode. And as I've told you, whenever you want to run the application, you click on the play button, and mostly when you're using, you will remember the button through the shortcuts such as Shift F8. Now it's asking you whether it wants you to run through the emulator. which is showing offline, or the AVD, which is a Nexus 5X. So let's select Nexus 5X and run through the AVD. We will select it and click OK. So you will see your application on the screen, and the text that you had written is displaying on the middle of the screen. So let's close our lecture today, and in the next lecture we will carry on from where we left off and continue on the course outline.